For a moment, as I leave there, I don't hope Misha's watching. I hope she's not watching. But, like, what do you mean see for yourself? Like, she's, like, right there. Watching through, like, a crack in the door, bro. For a moment after I leave the room, I actually do consider seeing what Misha's up to. Just because Shizune made it sound so secretive. As if she were building a time machine or something. But in the end, I said not to. What? The night air is pleasant at this time of year. It's refreshing and a little humid, but not so chilly as to make it uncomfortable to stay outside for a while. It's late enough for the courtyard to be all deserted, too. After Shizune and I say our farewells to each other, I set out to return to my dormitory room. I didn't even make it all the way there, before getting distracted. It doesn't seem like a bad idea to go see what Misha's up to. I have nothing better to do, no homework. I'm out of anything worth reading, and on top of that, I simply want to know. This isn't my first time being in the main building after hours, but usually it's as if I'm leaving the place with Shizune and Misha after a long day, student council, not entering it alone. The atmosphere is quiet, a word I would not normally use to describe these halls. It's a little creepy. A light starts flickering up ahead. It seems like a horror movie moment waiting to happen. Feeling a hand on my shoulder, I stiffen reflexively. It's not Misha, or else there would be hands clamped over my eyes and a sing-song Guess Who accompanying them. So who is it? I hope it's not Kenji. Or at least that it's someone I know. This will take a turn for the weird. Whoever it is quickly slips out in front of me. It's Shizune. What are you doing here? I'm so relieved that I forgot to sign it. Shizune puts a finger up to her lips. I guess, even though she can't hear, she has some idea what loudness is. And she could tell from my expression that I was being loud. And apparently, being loud isn't a good thing right now. But then why is Misha her interpreter? Oh, very funny. Why are you here? I was waiting for you to come see. I knew you would show up. It took you a while, though. So you've been waiting here? Yes, but that isn't important. We have to be stealthy. If we don't want Misha to detect us, tell me if I'm not being stealthy enough, okay? And with that, Shizune starts slowly tiptoeing through the middle. She's so cute. I pat her on the shoulder to get her attention. That's not stealthy. Why do we have to be stealthy? She refuses to answer. Probably because signing and walking stealthily at the same time doesn't look easy. Before I know it, we're in front of our homeroom. Suddenly, a loud crack of the whip pierces the air, followed by a familiar expression of frustration. I'm sure that a sound like that isn't good for my heart, not to mention everything sounds like a million times louder with how silent it is. It's coming from inside the room, and I sidle up to Shizune to look inside. Okay. Can you stop throwing your pencil, please? How do you even throw a pencil that loudly? He looks very flustered. He looks cool in a black button-up. He's pretty sick. What an understatement. I sympathize with Muto. I was able to hear Misha's pen break the sound barrier even through a wall and a thick classroom door. Probably blew out his eardrums and left an imprint on the wall. I'm not throwing it. When I get nervous, I like to spin it around, but then I forgot I'm holding on to it, and she's so cute, actually. It doesn't matter. Either way, there shouldn't be pencils flying around. I get enough of that during regular school hours. I don't need it after hours. You're right. Sorry. Whatever. Just stop throwing or releasing or dropping things, please. Teachers have work, too. I know Shizune watching the same scene I am. Muto is yelling at the top of his lungs. Oh, my bad. And Misha is being Misha. I can hear them reasonably well through the door, but Shizune obviously can't hear anything at all, so I wonder what watching this is like for her. I hope they're not a thing. That'd be really weird if this is happening right now. She must know, since she understands well enough to want me to see it too, but I have to wonder if she ever feels like she's missing out on something, having to work that much harder to understand what she's observing. It looks like she's taking supplementary lessons. Is she? Yeah. Answer, despite knowing the question, is completely rhetorical. Misha told me she really wants to be a sign language teacher in the future. If she can get a recommendation, she could study overseas for it. That is why she's working so hard. Okay, I hope that's what's happening. Her grades were always kind of on the low side. Now I feel guilty. I haven't even thought about what I'm going to do yet. Neither have I. The cheerful way she signs is very unlike her and very obviously false. Let's get out of here. We don't want to be seen. It would be a problem if we were caught standing out here like idiots. Where? The student council room? Shaking her head, she slips into her classroom across the hall instead. Great hiding place. You're unusually sarcastic lately. With the door closed, it's a good one. Anyway, wasn't it interesting? Yes, but I'm not really surprised. I close the door behind us, prompting Shizune to laugh soundlessly as she slides into a chair. For a second, it depresses me. I want to hear her real laugh. I've been looking down on Misha. I didn't think she had a real goal at all. But it turns out that I was wrong. I made a careless assumption. I thought that Misha was as aimless as I was. I was stupid. I lost. Shizune pauses to crack her knuckles, then folds her hands onto each other and leans forward in her chair. In the abnormal quiet of the building, I can hear Muto yelling at Misha again, even across the hallway through the 2 doors. Shizune's eyes are locked on mine, unblinking behind the gleaming lenses of her glasses, observing my reaction to her words. This is a test. Her opinion of people is rarely formed by how they respond to questions, and it's how they respond to statements that counts. In hindsight, it makes sense. Shizune's inability to speak, as well as her personality in general, means that anything she says is a big commitment on her part. Everything. For that reason, I sometimes doubt that she says anything without a hidden agenda behind it. That sounds remarkably paranoid. Even Kenji would think so. Unfortunately, I'm so caught up in thinking about it that I forget to give her an answer. She takes it as there not being one. There was an invisible time limit to the test, shorter than usual. Just as I thought. What do you mean? You don't agree? Not really, it's not that. I don't get it. I want to force my will on people. How refreshingly honest. Don't give me a weird look like that. It's not like that was always my intention. At first, I was just bored. I wanted to see someone's passion for something. Then I could try to beat them. I wanted to test their ability or their convictions. But it was impossible. No one has any passion for anything in this school. They just want to keep to themselves. I can't believe it. It's too boring that way. I thought there was no way these drab people could be for real. It goes beyond not wanting to make waves. They had to have some interests. They had to be hiding something. I wanted to expose it and reveal it and drag it out. One of the most successful ways to get people to open up to you and cheer them up is to open with a story about yourself, and then ease them into telling you about themselves. It's like give and take, but with an element of manipulation, which makes it interesting. I can't do that. If I attempt to have Misha talk about me, for me, it makes me seem arrogant. The message has to go through a messenger. I'm standing next to Misha, telling her to tell someone about me. You don't have to be able to read sign language to see that. If I were forced to sit through that, I think I was arrogant too. I would think that I was arrogant too. I was frustrated. I couldn't figure out a way to have a conversation with anyone but Misha. No one would open up to me. I came to the conclusion that I can't make people confide in me or believe in me. I can only hope to create things and show them to people, and hope they make them happy. Or I could be more forceful and hope that it would eventually stick to someone. I guess that would be me. Feels vaguely depressing. Somewhere along the line, I think I started to ignore Misha, or see her as less of a person, or something like that. I took her for granted. I think that would be my best way to put it. It was like she was an extension of myself. I forgot that the whole time. Misha was there, opening up to me and giving 100% every day. I missed what I was looking for because it was in plain sight. How stupid of me. I really did become arrogant. That's why I've lost. I'm more short-sighted than I was back then. I went in reverse. She's pacing back and forth now, almost brooding, yet still filled with so much energy that she can't stand to stop moving. If you got her to hold 2 wires, I'm sure Shizune would power a light bulb. It's odd that I could have such a light-hearted thought that she was being so serious. And in spite of that, Misha tells me that I'm her inspiration. Isn't that ridiculous? I'm not the kind of person who can inspire others. Even if a person who inspires you is flawed, it can be acceptable. I've thought about this. There is an even acceptable hypocrisy. For instance, if your hero was an athlete, but unsportsmanlike, they could still be respected for their athletic ability, even if they had shortcomings as a person. However, she snaps her fingers briskly. It sounds like a thunderclap in an empty room, and Shizune takes a few seconds to stretch her fingers. Come to think of it, this is the most she's ever signed. If someone like me has no goals, then it would be totally unacceptable. It'd be the worst kind of hypocrisy, and hypocrites don't deserve responsibility over anything. They can't even manage themselves. How incredibly pessimistic. It makes me angry to think about it. I would hate myself just a few months ago. This must be how I look to others. And funny enough, it was Shizune and Misha who convinced me to stop. Without them, I'm sure things would be much different, and not for the better. Lately, I feel as though we pass our miseries as much as we're supported by each other. And I think that just comes with the territory of having friends and being close to someone. You're the leader, anyway. That is only because no one else wants to be. But that means you still are, since people are putting their trust in you anyway. In fact, doesn't that make it more important? Either way, you are the leader. You are the inspirational figure, or whatever you want to call it. You're responsible for what you tame. I read that in a book somewhere. That's clever. Shizune only seems to show what's feeling on her face as she wants to, but I don't think she's being sarcastic. I don't want to tame anyone, though. Being a leader and being looked up to, then. Same thing. I never wanted to be the leader. It just ends up that way. I don't believe that. All you do is try to grab more and more responsibility. Wait. I wasn't going to tell you that I don't enjoy it. I don't care about being the leader, but I don't mind. I don't care about being the best, but I don't mind. You're right, though. I'm about me wanting responsibility. Of course I want more responsibility. Having responsibility makes me feel alive. That's why I joined the student council. If there's no pressure, I just can't stand it. Even so, now, I'm the leader. I've always thought about being the leader meant give you more orders. You give more orders, but it's really more. It's about having a goal. If I don't have a goal, then pointless. People would only follow me for my own enjoyment, and it would be selfish. It's a strangely more moral viewpoint for a person who seems to love one-upping others so much. Resting her chin on her tented fingers, Shizune looks disarmingly childish as she thinks hard about her problems. The expression on her face is a little more comical because it's too obvious and therefore very unlike her. Comes with the job. I think you'd have to be a leader. You wouldn't be satisfied with anything else. You would just get bored. Shizune doesn't reply, but from her annoyed expression, I think I've guessed correctly. I've been thinking that I need a little direction, too. Were you told that it's important to contribute to society? What an unusual response. So out of nowhere that I don't know how to respond. And it also bothers me, though I don't know why. Possibly because it doesn't seem like anything would come for her. So I start to think that it isn't Shizune's thought at all. I wonder who told her that. Probably her dad. Well, it probably was her dad. Yeah. But there is a chance that she came up with it on her own. If so, would it be because she can't hear? Why do you say that? Just because. I don't believe it. I guess that's right, though. I see. I don't know if it's the same for me. I hate it. I think everyone wants a purpose. Looking back, it makes sense that Shizune doesn't have one. All that energy would otherwise be directed at something. Since she has nothing to do to channel it towards, Shizune's lashed out in all directions, which reminds me of a downed power line flailing in a storm. Furious and incandescent, but aimless and dangerous, just like Shizune. I want to say that this is why she feels the need to turn everything into a competition, but that's probably just how she is. Having a goal and to put that energy towards is just the next level. How about this? I could go into business. My family's well connected, so it shouldn't be too hard. That comes off as sounding a little unethical and nepotistic, doesn't it? A little. I won't coast, though. I'll work hard until I'm at the very apex. Jeez. When I have as much money as possible, so much that it won't be like I won't know what to do with. I'll move on to the next step, after sitting on it for a while, of course, like a fairy tale dragon. You want to be? A philanthropist. What were you thinking? Think I want to be a miser? Well, it's true, it is a part of the plan. Don't sell me short and stop there, though. Shizune looks a little uneasy. Of course, even if she did seem to resolve her problem quickly, no one can get over their anxieties that fast. No one can solve their problems that easily. The important thing is, it looks as though she has her heart set on trying. It's still hard to tell whether that drive of hers comes from a good or a bad place. But she has something to hold on to now. I genuinely believe that she does. I'm happy for her, and at the same time I feel a little cold. I'm the one who's behind. No, I'm the only one without a goal. Damn, that was heavy, guys. Wow.